Namaste to all. I would say this is a blessing what it has. I got a call that on this day, it's an opportunity to share my thoughts with the other selves. It's like myself talking to my own self. I think today most of us would have experienced that joy when it comes to the love of mother. It's not just the grace. Every day we experience the grace of mother. Today we feel that the love, the joy within us. So when I was asked to pick a topic to discuss, it's very difficult because most of the things are already covered. We have shared to know in mothers, all the writings, but it is more of a sharing than with any of a talk or a lecture. So I'm more curious to listen to me. I'm not sure how much you can take this. It's not that I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to listen to what I'm talking because I left completely to the mother to redefine what she wants to, rather than talking what is already told or putting in a format where we can assimilate easily. The topic that flashed is Dhyana redefined. So Dhyana, the English word is meditation. That's been very loosely used. And also, the word meditation doesn't carry the power of what we have when we say Dhyana. Dhyana comes from the root, especially, I'm not talking that it's a Sanskrita language, so it is sacred. There are certain sounds which it enters to this cosmic world directly. Something like Om, when we say Om, it carries from it within that energy, what it flows. One such word is Dhyana. There are multiple dimensions of this Dhyana. This is not an introductory lecture about Dhyana. It is about the hurdles what we may encounter or how we can redefine and then take ourselves to the depth of the Dhyana. So to understand that, we may have to spend some time with some of the technical terms also, which I say technical term because we are not very familiar or we don't use it in a routine basis. So we'll start with what is this Dhyana. The very word Dhyana, if we try to go slightly deeper into it, it is Dhyana. We are most familiar with the letter Dhi, just like in the Gayatri mantra, Dhiyo Yona Prachodya. Dhi is the Dhi Shakti. In a simple words, like a Buddhi. Buddhi is intellect. That's a discriminatory power at the mind level. Whereas the Dhi is in the Gayatri, it is slightly higher than the mind and is more towards inner and then deeper and higher. That is the Dhi Shakti. Now, what we are trying to do in Dhyana is this Dhi is the immediate goal. And then Ya is Yana, like Prayana. So my journey towards this Dhi is Dhyana. So the first step is redefining that. So why it is redefining? Because every time we have to define what I want and then make sure I understand what it is and then get into the levels of understanding where my mind can reach. Once that is done, then I'll have to destroy that entire thing, come out of it, and then redefine it. So it's like learning, unlearning, learning, and learning. You construct and then you destroy it. This is what the Srishti is doing it. Every time it brings, it's a composition, then decomposition. This process is continuous. This we can appreciate very well when it comes to the dhyana. Now we'll come back to this word dhyana when we get into the deeper things of what is happening during dhyana. Now, when you say meditation, usually what we do is we go sit in a quiet place, cut off all our sense organs, close our eyes, then a silent place with the breathing pattern, whichever we are comfortable with, and then we try to concentrate at the mind level. Up to this point, everything looks okay. The moment we start this aspect of working at the mind level, then the difficulty starts. The first difficulty is we are not able to concentrate. This has been a very common problem. It's like you name it, everybody would have gone through that. Why that happens? Then how to overcome that and then to the next level. This is what we are trying to do when we do the dhyana. The first is why it is happening is because we are trying to do the meditation. The first step is we are trying to do the meditation. When you try to do something, it becomes an action. Meditation is not doing. Not doing is the meditation. So again, we have to redefine everything. So when we have to meditate, of course, there is meditation in action as well, meditation in silence, both. First, we'll look into meditation, dhyana in silence. If we try to do the first step, all the beginners would have tried. You concentrate on an object or a symbol or even a word, and then meditation is happening at the mental level. And we know what is the purpose of the mind is it is an instrument which is meant for receiving the senses through the five sense organs, process it, and then give it out. This instrument, this mind, is meant for action. And then what we are trying to do is we are trying to control this action or this activity of the mind itself. Unless you go to the very deep level of what we call the spirituality, this is very difficult to do. That is controlling the mind. Instead, we should start using this mind as an instrument. Now, just like our hands, we have karmendriya and jnanendriya. Now, we'll go slightly one step down and then deep. We have jnanendriya, five sense organs through which we can receive the signals from outside, like our eyes, ears, nose, then the taste sensation in the skin. Why these are sense organs? The right word is jnana indriya. Indriya is like what you can receive, or it is something which can put it into action. There is input device is called jnana indriya. Jnana is I'm trying to know. When I see, I'm trying to know. When I hear, I'm trying to know. When I touch, I'm trying to know. This whole process, what we are going through these five sense organs is knowing. Unfortunately, we are not aware of this aspect that the sense organs are meant for knowledge. We think it is for the purpose of, okay, for my usage or for my luxury or even for my exploitation. It goes to different level. We are using all our sense organs which are supposed to be the entry point for the knowledge. We are using it as a means of enjoyment, like a taste of the food. It's nothing wrong with that. But if you are trying to use only for that purpose, then it gets used to that activity only. Now there is a whole set of process where we can train our sense organs, where it knows that this, just like animals use their smell sensation or the vision, to get a sensation of if there is a threat or if there is a food. So that's a knowledge it gets. That's a natural instinct. There is no effort that is put. That is up to the level of the prana. Whereas we have evolved beyond that physical body, vital body, and then we have gone to the level of the mind, mental body, where this mind can overpower these natural instincts through the intellect, that is buddhi. It can easily overpower that. Once it does, the natural instincts, which is very passive, that's been dominated by this intellect, and it also cuts off the natural intuition that comes from ego. So now there is an instinct below. If this is a mind, there is a natural instinct below in the nature, and there is intuition above. Now, what this mind is trying to do is it cuts off the intuition, what is directly coming, and then the instincts, what is naturally going. This is required for the evolution at the conscious level. But if you are not aware, and if you just look at the mind as a place where I have to do meditation, or it is meditation through the mind, but we'll be doing meditation from the mind or at the mind. If you're trying to do from the mind itself, it's very, very difficult. This is the fundamental problem where it is. If it is not at the mind level, then what is to be done? Then we know the answer also. It is a meditation through the mind, because mind is also an instrument. Just like we have the outer instruments like anna, prana, or at the anna is the physical body. As I said, this is not very, very fundamental introduction about the dhyana. Those who have some familiarity with the aspects of meditation, it is going for a deep dive. So if you're not very familiar with these terminologies of anna, prana, mana, jnanendriya, karmendriya, then for time being, you can rest it apart and take only those which you can easily assimilate. But we can go through this video repeatedly where it helps you to get into the deeper levels. That's the whole purpose of today. Now the physical body has got the sense organs where it can take in. And then we know it is not the eyes that is actually seeing. It is through the eyes. The eye is an instrument, or ear is an instrument to receive the signals. A light signal or a sound signal. It goes in to the brain. Brain is still an organ, an instrument, and reaches the mind. So here, actually, the processing will be happening. Just like in a computer, we have the input devices and the processor. So this processor is mind. But depending on the capacity of the processor, the RAM, what we have it in there. So depending on its capacity, it can process. And then the processed action will be coming out through the physical body, depending on what the action needs to be done. That is done through our karmendriya. Karma is the instruments of action, like our hands, legs, even the speech. These are karmendriya, excretion. These are karma indriya. Karma is action. Karma is basically action. So these are instruments. Just like these are called as outer instruments, which during the evolution we are well aware of it. Now there are inner instruments. We call it as antahkarana. Karana is again means just like Indra, karana is also instrument. Antaha is inner. Antahkarana is there is manas, buddhi, ahankara, and chitta. So we don't have to go into too much details about this. To the extent we can simulate today is manas is a processor of all those that is coming in through our sense organs and processing happening. Buddhi is a decision maker. It discriminates. It decides whether to do or not to do, whether to go ahead or not. That's all. It's not necessary that Buddhi gives a right decision. Buddhi only gives a decision. Manas, mind cannot. Mind is just a processor. Buddhi is another aspect. Of course, this is an extension of the manas. But to understand very clearly, buddhi is the discriminatory power. What is truth? What is falsehood? Then I may follow falsehood. Then I may choose ignorance. That is not the capacity of the buddhi. Buddhi can only tell you whether this is correct or wrong. But it depending on my desire, depending on my requirements, depending on my desire, depending on what do I want, then I may choose whichever it is. Because everybody knows what is right and what is wrong. It's not something we are not, that's not an ignorance at all. Everybody, in fact, knows what is right and wrong. Still, we do. It's not just in the action. It may be in the speech. When we get angry, we know that what we are doing is wrong, but still we do it. The intellect, buddhi is clearly telling you not to do that. But my emotion overdrives and then it says that now I'll outburst. I don't care what you do. So buddhi says, okay, it's up to you. I've given my decision. As an administrator, we can only set rules to be silent and other things. If somebody starts talking, then the administration cannot do much unless they have authority to throw them. So this is manas as a processor, and then buddhi as a decision maker. And then we have aham, the ego. Ego is not in the negative sense what we generally talk. Ego is the identity, the ahankara. This is not the self I'm talking about. This is still an instrument. You are not come to the level of self. This is aham is my identity. Am I identifying myself with my physical body or my vital body is pranamaya kosha is generally we can take it as the emotions. For very simple and crude alternate for this vital body, we can take it as the emotions. And then the mind. The mind is the mental body. These are three lower level. We call lower because it's already well evolved and we are completely aware of what it is doing. And then we have higher three levels, which we call it as Sat Chit Ananda, the three attributes of the divine himself. So the Satchidananda is above, Anna Pranamana are the physical, vital, and mental below. And there's a bridge in between that we call it as Vijnanamaya Kosha. This is Vijnana, or in the Upanishad it's called Satyam Rutam Brihat. There are many terms to that. So this is a bridge between this lower three and higher three. The higher three are reflected below. That's a totally different topic. Now, this dhi, what dhyana, what we are trying to do is, the dhi is above the mind level. First, we need to understand the dhi shakti is not the buddhi. It's not the intellect. This journey is going into the deeper. Now, if you identify yourself with the body, the whole identity ego, it's me, I, with the body, most of the times now we believe, those who say that it's only the physical world that exists, this is a real world, this is a practical world, and this is what we have to do outside. At home, you can do whatever you want, or inside you do. This is generally what we call it as a practical world or the real world, so-called real world. This is not the right term, but for our understanding, what we call, we believe what we see. All those perceptible to the five sense organs is the real. If not, that is something metaphysical. So like a physical and metaphysical. Physical is which my five sense organs can perceive and which I can actually objectively look into. And then something not, then something beyond my physical senses, that is metaphysical. But if that is the case, then there are many things which we cannot explain at the physical level, like a dream, or even the happiness, or even the grief, the joy, or you feel a satisfaction. So none of these attributes, which we call is giving me the sensation inside is directly related with the physical world. That means there is something beyond physical. This is the first step, we should be very clear. Of course, in this group, we know very clearly there is, it exists. That's a real world. That's a reality, including the physical world. So we don't have to argue or convince each other that there is something beyond physical. Now, if my identity is only the physical body, like in the introduction when sir was mentioning about all the things, they try to introduce me as a doctor or some physician, and then he does something on. So what is it's only trying to give the different attributes. But is it the same? Am I that person? No, I'm not that person. I'm doing all those actions. So that means the identity aham is what we are trying to establish in ourselves. This aham. If we are stuck to the physical world and then you try to do the meditation, then the whole thing revolves around that self. It's that as a self. I hope I'm making it more simple than making it a complex. If I identify my physical body or only these physical things as myself, then we end up only meeting the requirements of this physical body. Now there are emotions. So we know that when a body is, when a person is dead, the body is still there, but there is no life in it. That we call it as jiva. That is left, then the body is still there, and then no breathing, no activity. There is no life, there is no energy. So can we say that this life is actually myself? There is a possibility. In fact, these are beautifully explained in the Upanishads. It says, Annam Brahman, Pranam Brahman, then Manas Brahman. So this goes on. It's beautifully explained. But when we listen to that, we are convinced or you understand. But in practice, can I do that? That's the difficulty, because the mind and intellect knows, but the conviction is not there. This is actually the truth. There's a slight gap for that. So to bridge that gap, we have to get into that mode of dhyana. Dhi now becomes more a knowledge. Now you see what I'm trying to say is, now Dhi, which is the highest, we start with the Dhi as the knowledge to know about things. So without knowledge, we get into the dhyana, then it becomes half-baked. It will not be able to go deeper. So the knowledge is the most important prerequisites. The highest knowledge what we have today with us is Vedas. Why Veda? Because that's a direct revelation from the source itself. Does it mean that somebody not knowing Veda cannot do dhyana? No, it's not the case. If by nature your swabhava is you want the jnana, then definitely you go and seek for Vedas in the mantras, the revelation directly. There are multiple ways of getting it. That method is not necessarily only with the jnana. But if your nature, if swabhava is towards that, then definitely you have to take it up. Now this identity, the ahankara and mamakara, that's I and mama, mine, is required for the action purpose again. So this is also one of the aspects of the mind, but we can separate it easily, saying that this is my identity, aham. But this is not the aham what we are trying to establish in our dhyana. This is for the purpose of action only. Now I sit here, okay, my identity is to talk, to deliver. So to that extent, I take that role. This ahankara, aham is that identity, and then do my action. To that extent, that's good enough. After 6:30, if I continue sitting here saying that I am the speaker, I will not leave this place, what will happen? First, nobody will be left here. Let's say speech time, 6:30, close. And then the security will come. He will have his ahamkara. His identity is he is the security. And he will pull me out and throw out. See, this is for a particular action only. That is aham. So then comes, there is one more, these are instruments. So don't take the instrument, that is manas, buddhi, aham, and then the chitta. Chitta is again a vast subject, but for the understanding purpose, we can take it as a memory for time being. To start with, that can be a memory. We use the most superficial memory aspect of it. Memory can go very deep, deep to the extent it goes to the subconscious and then many births. In fact, one of the idea of the dhyana is to go and open up the chitta further and further. That's one of the aspect, not the only aspect. So this chitta, right now, what is easily available to us is the surface memory. Memory of who I am, where is my house, who are my fellow beings. Imagine if there is no memory, there is no knowledge, there is no continuity. We see that in the old age, there is a dementia or there is a memory loss. What happens with that? They don't remember what they ate or what they had or whom they are talking to. This memory is the link between all the things I'm doing. If I don't have the memory, the surface memory I'm talking about, just a surface memory, that today is mother's birthday, I need to come here and then we all gather and then we'll share this joy. See how beautiful the memory is. To take out that memory aspect of it, then nothing will be left. But again, this chitta at the surface level is again an instrument. But you identify yourself with only that memory that, oh, something bad happened and then whole life is bad and I cannot live. Oh, my dear one is gone. The memory itself becomes so strong that you identify yourself only with the chitta. Then life becomes suffering. So there is aham where you need to look into. So now these four are instruments, manas, buddhi, aham, chitta. If this is the instrument, there is inner instrument and outer instrument. So all this time, almost like half an hour or so, we spoke only of the instrument. But then the question comes, instrument for whom? Who is actually using it? If this is physical, vital, and then mental, and then mind, you go further, antahkarana, then who is actually doing all these things? So the start of dhyana will be the start of identifying myself. This self is, there is a deeper myself. When I say this is my body, this is my emotion, this is, I don't mind. Who is telling this? The inner voice. The inner voice that what I'm talking about, or we call it as Atma Sakshi. So we have to go first in search of this. Where is this is coming from? So first we have to define myself. If I define myself, then this self actually is doing the dhyana. Now, if this self, instead of taking these are instrument, outer instrument, inner instruments, and there is a self, and this self, to start with, Sri Aurobindo calls it psychic being, and there is a jiva, then that goes, and then there are different terminologies. So these are the names given by us. It doesn't carry any value if you are not connected with that. You may replace one with the other. You may replace second being with something else, or the jiva with the Brahma. You may replace it unless you have the experience inside that this is myself, which is actually using all these instruments, both antahkarana and then jnana karmendriya. if this identity is not established, the true essence of dhyana will not start. But we always say that, okay, when I do, even without knowing, when I sit for dhyana or meditation, I feel good. But that is happening. Then what is wrong with that? Just like a physical body taking rest, you do physical exertion, physical work, and go sit in a place, and then relax yourself. What happens to the body? You feel good. Now there is a mental activity going on. You sit in a quiet place, cut off all the sensations so that mind doesn't receive the senses or to the minimal, so that mind action is minimal possible. You're not negating it, minimal possible. That means you are not putting mind to the exercise, it's not acting. So after a few minutes, automatically mind is relaxed. Then we feel that, oh, okay, this is the meditation, this is the joy I am getting. No, we are still nowhere near that. It's only the mind which was actually running fast and then it was trying to do many things. Instead, it just sat down just like a physical body and trying to breathe in. That momentary relaxation of the mind, we take it as, okay, I did a good meditation. After the meditation, I feel good. This is not wrong, but this is just a first step. Because we get a sense of relaxation and also sense of happiness, the joy, slight joy. And that is like feeding yourself, okay, just by sitting quiet and then not allowing too many thoughts. It's not completely taken out thoughts. Just with reducing the thoughts, I was able to get the joy, which I couldn't get even when I went out and then had a delicious food or went to a different place. So it is better than actually what I was struggling for. After all the struggle which I got, which is equally important, we are not saying that that is useless and this is important. Both are equally important. Because now we are talking about the dhyana in the silence. There is a dhyana in the action also. So there we have to continue the same even when you are acting. Okay. Now in the silence, now just by sitting and relaxing the mind and minimizing the thoughts is just a formation of what is happening in the sense organs. If that can happen, now it gets okay. Now there must be something better, something even more beautiful if I can go deeper into it. This is the start of it. If I'm not able to do even this, just sit in a quiet place or even cut off the physical senses, then it needs further you come down and then make it happen. For that, we have many of this, like the techniques of choose a right place, silence, no disturbance, then asana in a comfortable position. That's the whole concept of yoga asana. And then work on the breathing, because the breath is the energy that we are exchanging with this inner and outer, microcosm and macrocosm, the inner and outer. So it is Pindanda Brahmana. It's continuous exchange of energy happening through mainly breathing and of course with food and water. So we can have many techniques to reduce those food which is actually aggravating or depressing or many of the drugs of abuse. That is a different mode. If you're not into this, if you're not getting that joy of sitting quiet and enjoying the silence, that means you have to still work outer, work on your anna prana. If you're able to already do this, then that aspect is done. Now you redefine the dhyana. Redefining was, that definition was good enough to that level. Then you say, now I use my inner instruments, go deeper. So when I start doing that, then the dhyana, the process of dhyana, it will enter in. So we may need some of the like help from a guru. Guru, not necessarily a person, like a book, a simple article or a note by mother saying what is meditation, or what is a prayer, and what are the things you can get when you do, or share with those few words, or taking one or two lines from Savitri, which makes you feel that to immediately go inside. So the process of jhana starts with I go inside, and then there is a moment where you feel that, okay, this is myself, at least I got that sense of this is myself. How to discriminate whether I got this myself or not? This self is not too much bothered about this, the selfish, what we call selfish, that I want only for myself. So this is the first purification that will happen. Then when you identify yourself, then you see that it's the same self in everyone. This is second level of purification. Purify is what? It's not adulterated. It's not impure. Why we are calling this as impurity is because if it is not for this self identity, now the self what we are talking is not the ahankara. That is not the aham. Now we have gone above that. It's not still the deep myself. It's not we are talking about the self, the deep self inside. It is the working self. The for the purpose of working. So sorry? So the real self. Okay, real self, we can see it's again the vocabulary. For somebody saying a real self will give a good feel. But these are not generalized terms. All these terms, don't take it by the face value of the word. The same word which you thought is very, very inferior and then very stupid word. In your deep meditation, in the dhyana, that may show you the best of the divine expression. It happens so beautifully. Then you're wondering, this is the reason I actually saw this, which I thought it is useless and it is completely no value in my life. I ignored so much. Repeatedly, it was in front of my eyes and I was not even bothered. Then when you go there, then you will feel that joy. Oh, this is the reason the mother has brought me right in front of me and I always ignored her. In fact, I was throwing out. So that's not about the vocabulary what we are looking when we are getting into the dhyana. It is the experience of that self inside which is making me feel the self everywhere. Then that small s, the self, the journey towards the capital S is going on, which was selfish. What we call selfish, it is becoming broadened. This aspect of the broadening is given by the Varuna, Mitra Varuna. Mitra is the love, the divine love. And Varuna is that vastness in the Veda. These are the deities. Now myself is like becoming broader, which was very narrow. It's only for my body, my luxury, my family, my known people. Now it is widening and then becoming broad. So this broadening is an aspect of that self. And then whomever you see that self, and then all the action they do, then you will see that it is the action of the ignorance or the knowledge which is actually coming out. It is not the person doing it. This is the action of the ignorance. This is ajnana and jnana that's been expressed out. See, the whole idea of what I thought that person is wrong itself gets redefined. Of course, the person is responsible because he didn't use his discriminatory power to do the right thing. Because he is still under that level influence of that body influence and the lower self. When I get into this self, the higher self of myself, you will see the action of this ignorance and the knowledge. It is the tamas and then the sattva, and then in between the action, that is the rajas. It's a triguna, the three gunas which is actually acting. This opens up. When it tries to opens up, then you will neither love, neither hate, nor hate. So you'll come to a state that everything is balanced. There is no positive, there is no negative. So this is the state we attain when you are actually in the state of dhyana. So now you go to the dhyana, there is no hatred at all, zero hatred. So did the wrong things disappear? No. Nothing. But what is the state you are in is you are going above the level of the hate, the hatred itself. You are going above the level of the love. So then this becomes divine because the divine is both positive and negative. The divine is both truth and falsehood. The divine is both knowledge and ignorance. So now this dhyana, now you are able to bring it together, then start the journey to going higher. This is happening in silence. The moment you come back and then start working, the rajoguna, the rajas is required. Tamas is the inertia, the resistance, which is not allowing me to move. It has got its own value, like a sleep. Sleep is required, definitely required sleep. But if you continue sleeping beyond that particular time, then it becomes a hindrance. If you don't get up early in the morning, if you want and still you don't get up, it's a hindrance. But sattva, so they say, is sattva all good? No. The sattva, when you actually want to do an action, it say, okay, divine will take care. I don't want to do anything. Then the sattva will be in disguise of tamoguna. So we should know that there is tamas. It's a combination of sattva, rajas, and tamoguna for the action. So when I identify myself, then the whole action in the nature, what we call srishti, the working is through this triguna, sattva, rajas, and tamoguna. Then you will not blame a person or a situation for that. This is a play that is going on. So that is the divine action. The divine, the word is deva. From the root div. Div means to illumine the knowledge. Div means actually to play, krida. Now the whole Srishti is now a play. It's a playground. We call it as Krishna Leela. See, now this whole play is Sattva, Rajo, and Tamoguna. You watch a cricket match. Imagine if it is not a limited over match. You say that, okay, first of all, there is no win or no loss. Okay, both of you go play and enjoy. Can you do that? Say that it's a friendly match. Just go and play. Can they enjoy it? No. Then you set a rules. There are two teams which has to play against each other, and then one will win, one will lose. Now the Rajoguna is coming. Now, because of the Rajoguna, the Tamas, which was inertia, which you didn't want to play, who is going to play or who will do that? That Tamas, the inertia is directly, Tamas cannot go to the Sattva. Now, it put it into action by giving a carrot. That is, okay, you will win. Or even if you lose, no problem, you learn something. Then you put a set of rules, what to do, how to do. Then what is this? Then one team will set a target, other team will chase. Then there is a resistance that goes on. This is the Rajoguna. Now this Rajas is going on. So when I am in the Dhyana Sthiti, then I will know what is the inertia, tamas, what it is, how to come out of the tamas. The easiest way to come out of the tamas is aspiration, the will to do it. That's called as the Agni Tattva. Now this is the aspiration. We say that, okay, now I've decided I will do dhyana. I'll start with something. Then immediately the inertia is broken. The tamas level, if it is in the scale of 1 to 100, if the tamas is 40, rajo is 40, and then sattva is only 20. Now the tamas level starts coming down. From 40, it becomes to 35, 30, 20. The rajoguna increases from 40, 50, 60. Now the ball starts moving. When it starts moving, then you add your sattva to that. Sattva is what? The good thoughts. Okay, I'm not doing this to just win the game. I'm just trying to enjoy the game. I'm going to follow all the rules of the game. I'm not to go any with the foul play. Now this is sattva I'm trying to bring. The 20 start becoming 30, 40. Now you see the sattva becomes 40, rajas becomes 40, tamas becomes only 20. Gradually, this ratio keeps on changing. This, once you know this, and then you know yourself, and you know this is the self, and this is the yana, this is the journey I'm going to do, then dhyana becomes my, now the dhyana, which was actually my goal, the sadhana or sadhane, now becomes my sadhana, that becomes my instrument. Then you will understand, why am I doing this meditation or dhyana? Is it just to know myself? Not really. Now I knew myself. The first goal achieved. Now you see, you are redefining the dhyana. What it was only to get a peace of mind and then relax. Then you get into that level of what is my instrument, outer and inner instrument. And then you see that this is myself. It's actually enjoying this. The joy of doing it. The joy in this. The joy of getting touched by the mother, and then the divine mother is helping me. So once there is an aspiration to do this, all that we have to do is aspire for it. And then with the aspiration, the action goes on. Then you will know that you cannot do dhyana. You can only surrender to the divine, and the divine takes you to the heavens. This is the surrender we are trying to do. So there's like as mother says, the prayer is what I am offering to the divine, whereas what comes back to me as a grace is the meditation. Meditation is not done by us. Meditation is the grace of the mother on us. The love she is showering. So we lose our identity there. It's absolute surrender. That is namama, namama. It's not me who is doing that. It's completely namaha. I'm surrendering. Completely swaha. That is a purna. Purna, complete purnatva. That's what we do in the yajnas. Purnahuti. Agni is swaha. Swaha is offering everything. What can I offer to the divine? Except for myself, the identity. The self also belongs to that. Then my identity, what it is, even that I am offering back. Why am I offering back? It is not the divine wants. I am offering this my lower self so that you shower that higher self. So see, this exchange is not actually exchange. It's only the grace that is coming back. If you don't offer it back, what happens? You are only stuck with what you already have. And then you are not satisfied. The faculty of the mind is such that it cannot take, it gets adapted. You sit here till 6:30, it is okay. 6:40 is okay. Imagine it is 7:15. It cannot, even if the best of the talk, even if it is a divine mother sitting here, you cannot. Because the mind gets saturated. The joy what you have already now, today it is saturated. You go back home, sleep, and then assimilate completely. Then the body gets new energy to receive more. Tomorrow you come back, you can assimilate more. This is the journey what we are trying to do. If the shower of the love is so much that you cannot take it, then you feel suffocated. That happens with our loved ones. They love so much that then you say, no, I need my space. You say, what is the problem? No, no problem. I don't want you to be too much love. Because there is a cutoff point, because identity is not with the higher mind, because with the mind you are looking at it. So as long as I am doing meditation, as long as I am doing, first step, first is I, second is I am doing. You make an effort to do this, and mother puts in very, very simple terms. As long as you try to do meditation, you are nowhere near that. I don't see any simple language than this to explain meditation. The moment you put an effort to do meditation, you are nowhere near that. To that meditation of dhyana. But the steps are, baby steps are taken. Don't confuse or the highest level of deceiving someone, deceiving the level of intellect, what Sri Aurobindo calls in his records of yoga. The highest level of deceiving is deceiving myself that I attained this, or what I'm doing is correct. This is the highest deception. Deceiving others is very simple. You put yourself with some fancy dress or something attractive dress or talk some simple, sweet words, they get deceived. It's not a problem at all. And later they may realize all this was just an attack. But the problem is I deceive myself that, okay, I am in path of Sri Aurobindo and Mother. I know everything. The rest of the people don't know anything. Oh, poor people, they are in the ignorance. Only the divine can take care of them. What can I do? But I am realized soul. I am the chosen from the divine. This is the highest deception we can get. And the hurdle of this time, you actually go inner and then to this level of dhyana. Then you redefine what you have to do. There is a third step of rejection. All those things, there is an aspiration, there is a surrender. But if you don't reject all these things, which is making you again is selfish at that higher level, and you feel you are superior compared to the others, no way you are superior. It's just the love of the mother which made you experience that joy, nothing more than that. Now you say aham tattva, you bring it again higher, identify, again that's a play of the falsehood. Then you say, okay, now I'm Arbundonian follower. I know everything. So I have the full, all the volumes of Sri Aurobindo and Mother. And again there is a fall. There's nothing wrong with that. Then you say, oh, okay, thanks, Mother. You made me fall. It's just first step. I'll climb again. I'll come back to you. So thank you for making me realize that the deception itself is wrong. I reject that and I surrender again. Surrender back. The mother will again lift you and take you in her arms and then shower all the love again. The fall, what was happened, is again the love of the mother. She's not a punishment. She wants the babies to become so strong. In fact, she says in the meditation, you may enter different worlds where you may be in trouble because the physical body protection is lost when you are in the non-physical world. We don't realize the importance of the physical body. The hostile forces cannot enter easily to this physical body because of this tamas, because of this jada. It cannot enter. In the dhyana, when you go deep, there is no protection of this physical body. Directly exposed, this energy is exposed to all the hostile forces. You don't know what can happen. Some people can go mad. Then mother says, just call me. I'm always there for you. But we forget to do that. We think that, okay, now I know all these things I can do myself. When the mother is actually having the pain, my child is suffering and I can't do anything. The pain what Krishna had when Draupadi was undergoing all the insult. Krishna was pleading actually, call me, I'll be there. Then Draupadi was pleading all those people around in the Vastraparana. What is happening there? And then at last she realized, Draupadi, she is the direct birth of the Agni itself. Even she forgot. That means that was another lesson to us. And then with one hand, she was holding the cloth, other hand, she was pleading Krishna, still no. Then she got the clearance, surrender completely to the Krishna, then the grace. This is the state we will reach in the Dhyana. I hope you are able to redefine to some extent. This is what the mother wanted me to just allow that sound to go out and then reach all the children of the mother and then get the joy of her birthday. So why it's a birthday? Because she is taking birth every moment within us. It's when mother takes birth within me, it's not a simple thing. Mother is taking birth in me so that I feel the joy, experience the joy of mother in me. I become mother of everything outside. The purpose is becoming mother myself. This is the special of the birthday. Then today, if you look carefully, most of the time, Sri Aurobindo's, the picture, even there in the first floor, it's quite serious. If you're not very familiar with Sri Aurobindo's way of communication, through the picture, I'm telling, you feel that, oh, okay, no, he's not allowing me inside. Unlike mother, you go, she comes with a smile and then takes you. Oh, come, child, whichever the way you are, I'll take you. Sri Aurobindo may not. That's my personal experience. You may have different things. Today, the moment I entered in the meditation hall, there was a beautiful smile on Sri Aurobindo. He was thoroughly enjoying mother's birthday. The joy was so evident, the image, the picture is actually smiling. And then that smile, whether it's there or not, I could easily. If not, if you're not visited the meditation hall, please do it. Spend time there. Then this is the mother is making because she took birth physically, getting all the pain to do that so that we go near her. So we have the joy of this Leela. It is have this experience of Dhyana, define, redefine, refine, and then be. Dhyana is the, is to know, and then Yana is to go. So now we'll know and then go. Know and do it. Consciously do it. That becomes a conscious life. A conscious life will become life divine. Thank you.